Yo, what's going on, good people? Welcome to 5 Roundz. I am Wantali. This is Pato. We've got Nala and Ovi too nice.
Hello, hala, hala.
Right. Guys, today is Friday the 13th. You know what I mean? So you know what that means. Stay at home. Stay at home. Before we start the show, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the subs. What the hell? Like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. All right. Make sure you don't miss anything at all. All right. Today, what we're going to talk about, guys, is
We can see it now.
family values. It's not just going to be about family values, though. You know what I mean? It's literally going to be about values themselves. So what values do you have as a person? Just give me 2 seconds. We've got a little bit of noise coming from Ovi's house for some reason. He's forgotten that we're live on YouTube, basically. All right.
Yeah.
He's like that. He's like that Malawian who wants the whole family to hear that he's live. You know what I'm saying?
Listening to the radio, yeah.
You get it? If you don't get it, forget about it.
All right. Cool. So, family values, guys. All right. I feel like this is quite an important thing to talk about because we go through life having these morals, standards, values, that we practice every day subconsciously without even realizing that we've got them. So somebody could ask you, "Oh, what are your values?" And you'd be sitting there like, I don't know. But then next minute, somebody calls you something or insults your family or whatever it is. You turn around and say, no, I will not stand for that because I was told to, hold out for my own or respect people or whatever it is, whatever value that you have. Right. So, guys, this time I'm going to start with the guys in the comments, guys that are going to watch this later or whatever it is. What I want you to do is tell me what your three core family values are. So growing up as a child or whatever it is, or maybe even after you maybe left your family, got married, whatever it is, right? What are your three core family values, right? So put them in the chat. I want to see what you guys are telling me. All right. Now, guys on the panel, all right. I will start with, in fact, let's say ladies first. I'll start with Nala. All right. What are your three core family values growing up, whatever it is? Let's go.
I think one of them is integrity. And then we have just being kind. I grew up, my mom always told me to always be kind to people around you. And I feel like I've taken that to my adulthood, where no matter how people will treat me or how people will act towards me, I'll always show kindness. Because I believe that, I think there's a quote that has gone around on social media where they say that treat people with kindness because you don't know what battles they're going through. So
Okay.
it just takes that one time, just being kind to a person, and they completely.
But I mean, integrity kindness though? Isn't integrity more about being?
That's a different thing. I said
Okay.
two things.
Oh,
I
you said kindness and
and
integrity.
kindness.
Oh,
Yes.
okay, sorry. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Little bit deaf there. Sorry.
And then in terms of
I'm sorry.
All right.
in terms of integrity, it's just being truthful, sincere, and just everything you do, just make sure that you're being yourself. That's one of the core values that my mom always instilled in us, my sister growing up, is always be yourself. Always don't show up as somebody else. Let people love you for who you are.
Okay. And you see, why do you think that these are the core ones to you? Why are they? So, for example, like integrity, why do you feel, when you look at your family, you say, do you know what? Integrity. Why do you feel that is one of your core values?
I guess it's just this thing of not wanting to portray a different character, not wanting to portray a different person. Is people should see me who I am and accept me for who I am and love me for who I am. That's one of the reasons why. Because I don't want to go around and act this like a certain person, and then people are like, wait, who is that person? I don't know who that person is. And then I go to a different group and people are like, these are two completely different people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
There's a bit of an echo there, like what's
Is
the
there?
echo? Yeah, there was a
nope.
bit. I guess it's on my end, is it?
Yeah.
What's happening, True City fans saying, look, Nala was brought up well. So I just wanted to go back to what you said, Nala. So you had three core values, of course. That was integrity. The other one was kindness. And what was the last one?
Generosity.
So wait a minute. Kindness and generosity. Okay.
They're
No, they're not. They're not.
All right. I'm not gonna knock you. So integrity, kindness, and generosity, guys. What do you think? Do you guys share the same core values as Vanessa? You know, where you brought up the same way as Vanessa. Do you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get into how these things also, you know, how you learn these things. Were they put into you? Did they say, no, you must have these qualities, or did you actually pick them up? You know what I mean? So we'll get into that. Don't worry. I just want to hear from the rest of the guys. Before I hear from the rest of the guys, for the guys that are just joining in right now, welcome to 5Roundz. We are talking about family values, guys. I already said, if you know your core family values, be it if it's like Vanessa, integrity, generosity, and kindness, you know, put that in there. So Mr. True City fan says what's up, guys? You know, and then he straight away goes at Mr. MP and says, MP hates Kendrick Lamar. I will never forgive him.
You want to get me cancelled?
MP, I think you're never gonna outlive that.
Me, I finna ring Vanessa after this show and test her generosity. You know what I mean?
That's a good one.
Test your generosity.
Brother from the village.
You know what you're gonna get. Yeah.
Do me a favor, please.
Get out of here.
Don't be coming here in HD and saying generosity. No, we'll test it. We'll see how generous you are.
Okay, now that's pretty good. Thank you for sharing, Nala. All right, next up is Mr. Ovi Too Nice himself. We want to know, Ovi, growing up, what are your three core values, three core family values?
It's not a test.
Yeah, no, it's not a test. I know.
Wow.
I think the three that I can there'll be more anyways. It's not that there'll be three, but the three that I can have on top of my head, probably I'll say the most important one that I believe, I don't know, like mine wouldn't be in names, man. It's pretty much where your mother or your father sits with you and tell you that, you know what, no matter what happens in life, you know, like for me, my mother has taught me in a way that no matter what happens in life, when it's through bad times, good times, just always stay positive, you know. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. That's one thing that I've always kept, and it will never go out of me. Like, we're all going to go through hard times. Everybody's going to go out more different type of hard times. You know, no matter how solid your wall is in front of you, there's always a way to break it down. My mother has always told me there's always a way. Never give up. So basically, maybe if we can say never give up.
Determination.
Yeah.
Be determined. If you there's no problem without a solution on earth. So basically, that's what, unless death. Okay, that's
you're right, Obi. You're right.
Okay.
Spot on. You're right.
You know, that's the moral that I learned. That and only death is the one you want to have a solution. Once you're dead, you're dead. But if you're alive, there's always a solution to every problem. So always stay positive. Don't worry too much yourself, because people end up thinking too much and, you know, put yourself down. Another one. Blood is thicker than water. It's a very, very important moral to our family.
Okay, you're talking about morals, but I'm talking about values here. You know,
I guess Ovi is right though. Like, it's just I think you can put it on the kind of moral kind of values where you're taking responsibility of people in your family. You know?
Okay, so what can you put that as? So I guess generosity.
Generosity of beauty.
So collaboration, isn't it? So you guys were, guys, if in the comments, if you know the word for it, what Ovi said is blood is thicker than water. So you look out for your family, basically. That's what you're trying
Before
to say.
anything else, yeah, your
Yeah,
family,
yeah, yeah.
your first, second family first before you can help anyone. One
What's
of
the
them would be.
What's the word for that? What's the word for that? I don't know.
Don't
I
ask
don't know.
me.
Okay. So yeah, so you determination.
Mhm.
I'll call it collaboration for now. And
Mhm.
then the next one was the
The third one as well, I would say, like Nala say, generosity. Now, generosity in a way that listen, in my way, the way I've been explained to it when they say generosity is give. Give and you shall be and you shall get, no matter what. Like these things
That kind
come
of
and things.
generosity? No, man. It's
No,
not
but
fair.
my generosity is like if someone needs
it's
and you
courtesy.
have, give.
It's courtesy, I think, that he was talking about. But anyway, generosity is one. But I think you were
Okay,
talking about
so
courtesy. Treat how you want to be treated, isn't it?
pretty much, yeah, treat how you want to be treated, but as well, like anything that is around you, if somebody doesn't have and you have and you're able to give, just give. You don't ask yourself twice or once. The things, it comes and goes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why I kind of say like generosity, because basically when in this world that we live, when we say giving, the first top tier we say is giving is always money, then goes to property and things like that. That's the top tier thing when you say someone you're gonna give. Your generosity, it's usually it's money. Okay, I give them money and let them find out what they're gonna do with it, and then comes to property and all that. But so in general, what I'm saying is, if somebody doesn't have and you have, just give it. It will come. You will get it again. So as you can say, if you want to call it courtesy, that do what you shall want to be done to you. So if it was you in that shoe that you don't have and somebody has it and they don't give it to you, how would you feel? So put yourself in those shoes and give it.
Okay.
Bang on, man. Bang on.
Interesting. So, guys in the chat, what do you think of that? So, what I got from Ovi there is number 1 is determination, number 2 is collaboration, number 3 is generosity stroke courtesy. All right. Pretty good. So,
Pretty good, man.
Mr. Patrick here, Mr. True City fan, throw it in the comments. It says, look, if you steal, we beat you. You cry for no reason, we beat you. You lie, we beat you. You refuse food, we won't feed you. Mr. True City fan. Is this trauma?
This one trauma? Hey, I think he grew up in the military. This one.
It says family comes first. Generosity.
You got it? If you don't get it,
oh my god!
You're on fire, man. You're on fire, True City.
Oh my god! Right, next on Mr. MP himself, Pato, the man of the moment, the man in blue. Well,
the man in blue, yeah. Oh, we're matching a bit, but it's not really blue like.
So, Mr. Man in Blue, what are your 3 core values? Your 3 core family values.
I think my first is self-compassion. Like every time growing up as a kid and growing up as just hanging alone and stuff like that, I was given that value to say, always clear that negative talk in your head, because then that's what brings you down in the world, right? Because you start first talking to yourself and then you go to the next person. If they say something else negative to you, you won't find peace in that. So always make peace with yourself, and then going out in the world, if someone else is going to come with something else negative to you, you just walk away from it and you find peace with yourself. That's the first one. My second one would have been it's more of just treating everybody equally, being raised up, I've been told in many ways to say never look at people depending on their ethnicity, depending on the race, religion, and all that stuff. Anything that's linked to any kind of political kind of scene, just brush it off. There is a good value in people, so always have that, like when you're moving around, because you're going to go to a different country, you're going to go somewhere else, you're going to meet different people. You have to have an open mind to knowing that there's something different out there. So that's one you have to carry with you the moment you walk out of the house. You have to know that people are different. People have so many different things. So you have to accept all those things, and then, you know, glue yourself, like mold yourself into that kind of nature as well. So I have that one. And then my third one would have been just, you know, taking personal responsibility of every action that I do. There is consequences out there. So if I'm going to go out there and break stuff, I know I have to own up to it. Accountability. There has to be all that stuff that I have to, you know, look into. So that's the stuff that my family has told me. I learned a few things from, you know, from people, you know. So yeah, there's also
Okay.
Yeah.
So positivity, equality, and accountability are your values. Okay,
Mhm.
that's very, very, very interesting. That's like a different look from Vanessa and and Ovi. You know, so yeah, you were more. I think you're more. It seems your family is a bit more accommodating. It sounds like you create a
Yeah.
hospitable environment, basically. You know, let's say
Yeah.
happy vibes, basically. Nice.
Happy to be here, FC.
Happy to be here.
Happy
How
to
about
be
yourself,
here.
man?
Oh man. Okay.
And how about yourself, Wantali?
So for me it's three things. There are three things that I grew up with. So one of them was respect. So respect for your elders, respect for others, respect yourself and stuff like that. You know, it was a key thing in my household. You know, I lived in a household that, you know, had standards even for just having a surname. Do you know what I mean? So they'll say, hey, you're so and so. So you have to respect yourself, your family, your peers, your what. So respect was a big thing for me. So, you know what I mean? It was so much so that, you know, it felt really, you know, like if you want to get a reaction out of me, it's probably respect. You know, it's one of those things, you know. Accountability, same as you, MP. For me, my family was very or is very let's sit down and let's talk about what went down and who did what and how we move forward. So accountability is a very important thing in my family. You know, I think without that we cannot move forward. We cannot be a unit, you know. The last one is security. I didn't have a word for this one, so I just called it security because I think one of them I'll go one way. Like, I think for me, I've got this persona where if you're family to me, I'll protect you from to the moon and back. You know, I'm one of those people that's just gonna have your back to the end. So, you know, that's something that's been drummed into me. You know, I guess you could say security. I don't know what that's called. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna call it security anyway. So yeah, those are the three.
Yeah.
Those are the three for me: accountability, respect, and security. Those are the three core values. So yeah, very, very strong, guys. Before we proceed, people, if you're just joining in, guys, we're talking about family values. I want to hear what your core values are, guys, in the chat. Welcome to 5Roundz, as we say. If you're new, remember, like, subscribe, hit the notification button. Right. So to continue on from the discussion, guys, you know, you mentioned all these values, right? I want to know how did you adopt these values? Is it that you learned them off of someone and then, you know, you learned them by seeing them, or did they just say, hey, this is who you are, this is what you're gonna be, don't care what you think, basically? You know, just let me know. I want to know how, you know, you guys went, you know what, this is the value that I'm gonna take, or this is the value I have to have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's start with Mr. Patso for a change. So Patso,
Oh wow.
how did these values, you know, get instilled in you?
Let's see. I think the self-compassion is growing up. I would say I was a bit of a stubborn kid and everything and all that of that sort. And then one time my mom wanted to, you know, just take me to the dentist and all that stuff, and I said no. And she said, "Are you sure?" And I said no. And over the months, she kept on trying to push me, and then I refused. And then growing up, years later, I came back to her and I said, "Why didn't you let me?" And then she said, well, you wanted to, right? And then I'm like, oh, I don't look like amazing and stuff like that. She said, no. I love you the way you are, and you shouldn't think like, there's something wrong with you. And most of all, like, you've got the most amazing smile and everything and stuff. And I say, why? How do you think that? That's where the conversation started, to say, you know what? Don't think of yourself as something else different. Always carry yourself in a different way. So I started building up that conversation of compassion. Who's having the echo behind?
Okay, I see. I see. I see. I see. I see.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, wait a minute. I didn't really catch what you said. Did are you saying that, you know, it was you were told to adopt these values, or did you learn them from
I had to learn them
ex-
from being bitter and going back to my mom and saying, you know what, you did this to me. You would, as a parent, you'd have forced me to go on to, the dentist and all that stuff. But in this situation, you chose not to go against my thoughts and my understanding of what was going on as a young kid. And later on in the years, that's when everything turned around. And then I was there. I was like, "Oh, you did this to me." And then she was like, "No, no, no. You did that to yourself." But I was there to ask you so many times to push you to a certain extent. Now you feel so bitter about the situation. Now it's your turn to actually feel, to say you have to accept certain things happen in life, and then you have to always talk to yourself in a proper way to say, if you can't fix this, there is a way to certain things, and don't always accept what people say to you. So always make yourself feel great, and then moving forward, that's where you can, any negative thought, any negative talk and stuff like that can bounce off you. So you could always carry yourself high, and nobody else can bring you down. So that's where I started off, like, from my age, like.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of
True City fan.
accountability. So let me see what Mr. True City Fan says here. He says that he says if somebody slaps you, you slap them back. That's what he learned. This guy just violent. Why are you learning violence? He says this guy one time he's a liar. He was making fun of me. Well, you spelled fun wrong, man. You know what I mean? He was making fun of me 2 minutes ago in the group chat, shaking my head. He says they were beaten into us. So he's talking about the values. Jeez, you've spoken about violence so much, Patrick. You
Yeah.
might need,
Danger.
you might need a bit of help here. You know what I mean? Jesus, I feel like I should be reading everything you say with this. Yeah, he said we all know we were beating. If we went against the values, go pick stick rules. Go pick a stick rule. This
Wow.
guy, man.
But wait.
Whoa.
Before you go ahead,
Mm,
but he kind of has a point, right?
okay.
African families have a different way of instilling values into their children.
Mm,
Let's be honest. Like they punish their kids with beatings. They'll ask you to go find a stick that is good, and they'll beat you if you've done something wrong.
wow. Okay. So to uphold the values, yeah. So you're saying,
Yeah.
look. Okay, it's very interesting. Very interesting.
Okay, am I happy?
No, you're not. I didn't say you are. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. Like Mr. Patrick here, he says. So this guy has been. So this guy has been like this since day one. Haha, Makani. He says Makani. Okay, sir. I think he's got another one there. He says Nala, go ahead. Don't be scared. Confess. Oh wow. Okay, so yeah, I mean, let's ask you now. How did you learn these values apart from it being beaten into you? How did you out here exposing the family? You know what I mean?
Well, let me just put it out there. My parents never used to hit me, so let's cancel that.
Oh, are you sure?
What? Are you serious? They were so
Maybe
Lord.
there was just that one
Listen,
slap one time
that's right.
here and there.
I think you, Vanessa. I think you. They were beating you with a newspaper. You'll be crying. They beat me.
No, they were just probably pinching her. Don't do it. Don't do
Don't do that again. Go to the corner. Go to the corner. Go to the corner.
Yeah,
Corner.
go to the corner. No, but my mom, well, my mom and dad, all they did was if we did something wrong, and their way of sort of like putting these values into my sister and I was to sit us down and have a conversation. And I always say this, that my dad scares me because like once you do something wrong, he won't say anything unless like it's really serious. Then he will sit you down and he will always say that thing, "I'm so disappointed in you." That's when you know that you've really messed up and you kind of need to stop doing whatever it is that you're doing and you need to change. So for my side, I feel like my parents did that through just like having sit downs and having conversations with me and my sister, and as well as seeing the way they interact with people. So like the generosity thing, where I've seen them be generous. Hey,
Yes.
generous.
You
General.
I'm clipping that. Yeah, so I've seen
can
them
see
be
that.
generous towards other family members or their friends. So it's something that I grew up seeing. So obviously it's something that I will be able to adopt into my life and grow up and be like that. So yeah, that's the way I adopted those values, is
Okay.
through seeing them and having conversations.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I think for me it's very similar. It really depended on the stage of my life, to be honest.
Yeah.
When I was a little bit younger, the only currency was if you do this wrong, you're getting a whooping. I don't care who says, "Hey, this is wrong. I'm sorry," but
I'm whooping
I'm
your ass.
sorry, but that shit sort of kept some of us away from jail, all these stupid things.
True that.
Because I don't know about y'all, but you had to have boundaries. Like my mom had to tell me you can't go as far as that road. You can't.
Yeah.
These things were there for a reason. If you go that far, then you're getting a whooping, fam. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, if you're just getting a talking to, how many talking tos are you gonna have before you cross that road? What's you gonna keep doing? Oh, you can't go. You can't go.
Nah.
I told
Nah,
you.
I tell you.
When they beat
I
you.
tell you, my dad would just look at me and just be like, "Oh, is that what you're gonna do? You're gonna do that again?"
Yo.
Actually, I'll tell you this, right? My mom told me once, "You need to listen to me when I tell you things," and I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And this was when we were living in the Area 47. Okay, my mom told me after I came back from school, my mom told me to stay at home, study, and not go anywhere. But I wanted to go play. Right? She told me not to go, like what you're saying, don't go further than this. And I did. And you know what happened? A dog bit me.
Oh no! So the proof was already there.
Yeah, a dog bit me. So I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
Where did it bite you? Where did it bite you? Just out of curiosity.
Moving on.
Thank you.
So yeah,
no, I'm not.
So basically,
no, because
okay.
No, because I was trying to similarize with my dog biting as well. You know what I mean?
You got bit here. I got bit here too. Oh, we should be friends.
No.
Oh my goodness. Everybody's been bitten by a dog, all right? You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've never been bitten by a dog?
But my scenario was kind of like the same,
That's brilliant. We're talking about family values. You know what I'm saying? Like, just wanted to get back there,
Okay, cool.
I mean, if the dog taught you family values, cool. But I mean, okay.
Come on.
So anyway, for me it was different stages of my life. So the older I got, the less the beatings came, because now they start, when you start growing up, parents start to see, depending on how you're raised, they start to see that you're growing up, you're learning new things, and your way of learning is changing, where that form of punishment, where if you do this I'll beat you, you're past that. Now you're starting to obey the rules or whatever it is. So now they try and make you understand these standards. For example, what Nala said, having a discussion, telling you how they feel about it, why you should have these standards and whatnot. But I think for me the most important thing was when somebody led by example, when they showed me the reason why we must uphold the standards and the values. That was the most important part. That's how I picked up most of the values, to be honest. So I'm gonna get into the comments.
That one didn't sink in well with me. That came through as lead by example. So I was told once to say, you know, don't go around sleeping with girls and stuff like that. I wouldn't even dare because then
Whoa,
Okay. It means you are doing that.
Whoa,
if someone
Does
else
that
makes a
mean-
mistake, that's when
Does
you
that mean you are doing that a lot?
Not exactly. I mean, look,
Yeah.
like I said, there are different types of scenarios and different types of
My
issues.
man, your parents won't just come and say stop sleeping around with girls. It means you are doing that.
No. Don't
This
sleep
guy
around with
is
girls.
like
Don't. As in, you're not even on that stage. They're telling you at
Okay.
this stage, don't go there. At this stage, don't go there. You feel like
So True City fan is still talking about this dog business. It's like I was attacked by a hyena back at our village. It was probably my uncle. This is cat.
I think True City fan told me about that story.
What is True City fan on?
I know.
I want to drink whatever he's drinking.
This is cap. So this guy, he says Chikwapu. So Chikwapu is a whip. So it's a whip in Chichewa. He even spelt it wrong. It's meant to be a hose pipe, and he said
How good a hose pipe?
What's a hose pipe, fam? Do you know what I mean?
You got it?
Yeah.
If you don't get it,
He even tried to correct himself, but he said it again. Hose pipe. Oh my gosh! Right? He says this girl has a good life. If they used the slipper to beat our backsides when we killed the neighbor's chicken. What were you doing killing the neighbor's chicken, fam?
What?
Because we
I
chased it.
bet they was turning it.
You remember?
Because we chased it until its last lifeline. He says, "Dear witchcraft, I couldn't leave, and the dog bites you."
Chasing the chicken thing, Patrick reminds me about that branding of soap in Malawi, where you have the boy chasing the chicken with the soap and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Jesus. So then he says, he asked, did the beatings affect any of you mental wise? He says,
that corrected me.
I'm gonna tell you.
I said it corrected me too.
Yeah, if you're saying it did it affect me mental wise, as in it put me in line, or damn right it put me in line. You know what I mean?
It did affect me mentally negatively. No, I think it was positive.
For me, I never loved my parents less for beating me because I deserved every time I deserved it. There was no point in time that I thought
it's tough love.
This was
This was unfair.
But you know, fairness, the time the beating is happening in your brain, or when the beating is finished, in your brain, you're kind of thinking for a second, my parents don't love me, they don't like me, they don't want me. I'm sure.
To be honest, I never thought that ever.
No, listen. I'll feel that right in a few minutes. I think the dads don't want me. They want to finish me. Why can they beat me like that? Because I'm fucked up. But when you grow up, you'll understand that. Yeah, I then fucked up. That's why I got that beating, and I deserved that. Because next morning you're gonna wake up and like nothing happened. That kind of way.
He says PTSD after that. No dreams about beating. The worst thing, before we move on from this beating subject, the worst thing was when, say, for example, you mess up, your mom comes from work and says, wait for your dad. And you're sat there for maybe 2 to 3 hours because your dad's coming. And that ass whooping is coming. You lose your appetite. You don't
You
eat.
pray. You're like, God.
And if you have a
never
sibling,
do it again.
if you have a sibling, it's even worse because that sibling is there going, "Oh, you're gonna get a beating.
You're in trouble."
You know what I mean? They start doing silly things because they know you can't do anything to them because you are getting a beating. Your sibling goes and turns on the video game. You know yourself, you can't even be comfortable playing because once you hear the door, your bum just twitches. You're just like, I'm just looking. Anyway, so yeah. If you call that PTSD, I don't know. For me, it was just comical, to be honest. So moving on. But guys in the chat, please let us know how these values were adopted. How you adopted these values. How did you have to learn them? Were they beaten into you? Did they sit you down all the time? Let us know. Mr. Patrick, very active today. Patrick said he wanted revenge. He said, "Oh my gosh, revenge on your own parents? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you,
I
sir?
feel like Patrick is the type of person that would dream about using a chihuahua on his
Yeah.
parents.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. So what apart from the family values you picked up, are there, this one is open to anyone who has something to add. Are there any values that you picked up as an individual from maybe your peers, from whatever it is? Are there any values you picked up and thought, you know what, this is a good value to have, and I am going to, I guess, keep this as one of my values. You know what I mean? Who wants to go? I can go first if you want.
Yeah, please.
So for me, it was discipline. So I guess maybe I had it in me from time, but then it became very apparent growing up. The time to do many things. Here and there, my parents would tell me, like, there's a time to play, there's a time to this, but it really came to light when it came to university, when it came to working, time management, finances, all these things. Discipline was very important. Being in relationships, being faithful, all these things just tie into this discipline thing. So I thought to myself, this is a very important value to have as a person. I don't know about you guys in the chat, but discipline is important to me, man. Even with the way I work, if you ask these guys, I'm all about the discipline. If I'm working with you and your discipline ain't straight, I'm gonna call you out. I'm that sort of person. I'm like, yeah. So yeah, that's the one. That's the one for me.
Good man, Tim.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
What about
me? Yeah, go ahead there.
What about you, Nala? Go on.
I think for me, growing up, could we call self-love as...
You could say, yeah, because
self-love, because
yeah,
I feel like a lot of people do talk about, I love myself and all this, but in essence, they really don't. There's a lot to self-love. It's you being vulnerable with yourself and knowing that, okay, I really messed up here, and forgiving yourself and letting go of a lot of things that have happened in your life and accepting who you are as a person. And also, as well, as being able to be comfortable with yourself. Just being able to be alone and comfortable in your own space. A lot of people don't know how to do that. And I learned that growing up. I learned that I think self-love is not just about, I'm gonna look good, I'm gonna do this. It's more to that. It's spiritual. It's the fact that you are able to just be on your own and love who you are as a person. Every little bit about you, even the flaws and all of that. So that's the one that I adopted growing up, like after I grew up, rather.
Okay. Any more takers? Did you just take your family values and roll with them?
I'm gonna go with this.
Or did you go, hey man?
This guy's trash.
Look at this guy here saying
trash.
AKA it's Idi Amin, bro. It's Idi Amin, or AKA the original Joe Biden.
Unreal. I would say my part, I think what I've adopted so far, like just recently, I think I would say I'll take credit. Now I take the credit for this one is think of the consequences before you act, right? Like if someone else attacks you for anything, take a step back. Don't give people the energy that they want, right? So if you're going to respond like if someone else comes through with negative energy, if they want to destroy you, just walk away from that, because that's not your thing. That's not in your brain. That's you need to take care of yourself. So anything that comes in fully at you, always just walk away. It doesn't matter if it's like rumors or anything that would destroy you in thought but not in character. Just walk away. Keep your character intact and make sure that once you take that step, learn from that mistake, and then go on step by step to create a better path for yourself and others as well. So yeah, Nala, thumbs up.
You already have this quality. You already mentioned
no. I had this quality, but then I was reactive in certain situations. So okay. I had to learn to say, you know what? Some people come through with the negative energy at some stage in your life. You have to accept that you don't have to give back that energy, because if you give them that hot stuff, you're gonna lose stuff, you know.
Mr. True City fan says, "Oh, this is turning into Oprah."
No, man.
Patrick with the fire comments, man.
Big up.
Yeah. So, I mean, so you're saying you were more reactive before, and now you I guess you think about it before you react. Basically, that's what you're saying. So you think, okay.
And I think what he's trying to say as well is just taking a step back and not reacting to everything.
Okay. Would you call
Yeah, go ahead there.
Would you call that a value, or would you call that a trait? I don't know. Because
is a value. It is a value.
Because you know why? I'm asking you because you said, right? You said you grew up on positivity. Your family told you, look, always look at the negative, and sort of ignore the negatives, focus on the positives, right?
Yeah.
This is a similar situation. You're saying that when somebody is attacking you, in a sense, you have to think about, you don't react to it. So you're ignoring that negative, basically.
Yeah. So that was one of the many examples, because then I could say, there is an example of, if you're gonna go sleeping around with people, think of the consequences after that. Like, what are you gonna contract from that? What are you gonna produce from that? Because, for example, some people want to make it in life. They sleep around, they have kids, they create. Quote me with these words, bastards, because you're creating kids. Like, seriously, people are just giving birth.
Jesus Lord.
I'm honest. Like, people are just giving bread, forgetting the string.
There was gonna be one. There was gonna be at least one who talks about somebody just going around places like.
Yeah, because then, like, you just can't go giving birth and saying that this is my child, but then the child has no father or has no mother. In that sense, you can't. Like, you have to think about the consequences behind it. If we're gonna go around, then that's it. Bad life.
Oh man!
Jesus.
That was churches on Sunday.
Churches on Sunday, man. Nah.
Patrick.
But
Patrick is not talking about you, fam. Chill out. Why you catch your feelings?
He says, "Let me hunt you down, MP." He says, "Shut."
Patrick, we need a drink.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, that's actually true though, MP. Look, it's I don't know again if it's a value or more of advice. You know what I mean? Is it a value or is it advice? Like if somebody gives you advice to say don't do this, it doesn't mean that it's a value. Because it's a value is something that
I think it's stuck in the moral kind of part. Like, I think so.
It's like a guideline. It's like a guideline. It's something you keep close. Like, for example, pride or whatever it is. These words that people use. Oh, that person is courageous. That's a value. It's a core value. If somebody who every day can just run through a wall, it doesn't matter what the situation is, that person has a core value called courage. You know what I mean? So yeah. You got to differentiate the advice to the value, so when an employer asks you, what are your strengths? What are your key skills? If you sit there telling them, yeah, my mom told me I shouldn't be shagging about, it'd be like, yeah, but what's this? What skill is it? I'm just saying.
It's personal responsibility. It's personal responsibility. That's the
okay. So you're a listener. You're a listener. So see, that's a strength. I'm a listener communicator. It's a strength. So it's the value I'm trying to
room. No.
I'm trying to look, I'm trying to steer you within the lines of the topic, the values. We know everyone here has morals. Definitely. We know everyone has morals. Yeah, if you got values, you should definitely have morals.
Don't be. Nah, the shoe doesn't fit all.
Who? What are you trying to do?
Patrick says, let me unsubscribe. So yeah, Mr. Ovi. Mr. Ovi, have you got anything to add to this? Were there any values that you learned outside of, I guess, your family, something that you picked up along the line and went, what, this is a good value to have?
I think respect
Put some respect on my name.
Put some respect on people's name. I think putting some respect on people's name. When I say respect, right? I don't mean I didn't really grow up with respect. I grew up with respect to respect my family and my mother. That's it, okay? I had no respect. I had no respect for any person outside my circle. So 100%. You know,
there's respect, and then there's disrespect, and there's effort. I ain't gonna say no more. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that little clip. Don't worry. Put some respect on my name.
Yeah, put some respect on people's name, guys. You know,
I ain't gonna say no more.
That's amazing, Ovi.
All right, guys. I apologize. Ovi Too Nice was sick, so his energy's been sapped out. But we're trying to keep him going, man. Trying to keep him going. Please wish him well, man. Ovi's been unwell for the whole week, man. So show him some love.
Yeah.
Show him some love. What's up, Orama? I'm in the building.
Hey.
What's going on? What's going on? Yeah. So, okay. Next question, guys. All right. I guess this one will be a quick one. Do you intend to use the same methods that, you know, I guess your family's used? So some people say they beat the values into us. Some people say, I know, we sat down and had a conversation. Some people are saying, I know, I learned by seeing it, by believing it. How do you intend to, you know, keep these values going? Because as we know, every family should have a legacy. If you are going to have values, how are you going to teach this? Jesus, this guy. I mean, he's over here. This guy.
Trying to stay dehydrated. Like,
yeah. Oh my God.
Hydrated.
Okay.
Maybe just add a little more water in that.
Oh yeah. So
guys, the doctor said I should drink a lot of water and make sure my throat is always
you're just sucking up the ice. Just add water to it.
See, they're wishing you well, Ovi. True City fans says get well soon. Okay, so Mr. Ovi, let me start with you actually. Do you intend to teach your children, your friends, your peers, whatever, the values you have the same way you learned them?
Because I'm in Europe. Because I'm in Europe. This only applies when I pass my border. Okay.
So it applies when you pass the border, but when you don't,
if I don't pass my border, if we land in my country, yes, I will use the same values I was given myself. But when I am out of that border of Malawi, Africa, and I'm in Europe, no, I cannot operate those things.
So let me ask you a question, right? If you're saying you're going to do, it depends on where you are, eh? So the values that you intend to beat into how are you going to do it when you're in a country that doesn't let you beat?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm trying to say that. That's why I'm saying if I'm here, unfortunately, I cannot use these systems of.
So what system are you going to use when you're here?
I'm going to have to use the talk.
No, he's gonna look at them like.
Yeah, you know, I'll try, but because you know, guys, I'm trying I'll use the talking ones, you know, sit down and talk about it because I don't. It's not like I've got an option at that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But listen, I think as what he has said, I think to a certain level, like if they start realizing to know that, okay, well, my dad beats me and I've got the power to ring social service and say, yeah, I'm being abused. At that time, I think you're gonna lay low. You're gonna be like, yeah, I can't do this stuff no more. But I think at a certain level, you'll be able to use these tactics of beat, and there'll be no threat of, you know, you thinking that this might turn out big, you know.
Patrick, True City fan. Oh my gosh. So he says, beat them and threaten them. Say, I dare you to report you to the Irish, to report you. You will see your last born or something. Oh my gosh. Okay then. Okay. guys in the comments, guys watching right now, for the guys that have just joined, welcome to 5Roundz, guys. We're talking about family values, guys, and we're talking about the values that you took on, you know, from your family to make you who you are today. The question we're asking right now, right? So you've learned all these values, you've picked them up as you've grown up. You know, some people learned them by getting, you know, by them being beaten, you know, but obviously it depends on the border. Some people obviously got spoken to in a, you know, in an accountable way or whatever it is. How do you intend to instill these values into your children, your peers, your friends? Let us know in the comments, guys. The last person I'm going to ask is Mr. MP himself. So Mr. MP, how do you intend to do it? Are you going to do it the same way that you learned these values, or
I think just sit down as a family and talk about the list of values that you'd like to add up, because you bring your values from the past and say, you know what, this is what I know, but then you with your partner or whoever you with, right, try to fix up a good thing, because you're trying to maintain a kind of healthier kind of relationship with your new family or whoever you are with, so just sit down, listen down, and try to recite them, and then eventually you might get something nice.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think for me it's the same. I am gonna use whatever it is necessary. Of course, we're in the modern world now, so this whole beating thing is not really good. But I think there are ways of no, not physically. All right, it's literally, if you do this, I'll take away your privileges or whatever it is. So there are ways of instilling discipline even in a young person.
Yeah, but if you come to think about it, right? If you come to think about it, imagine the time you were young, right? Just put yourself in that shoe, and you messed up. Like you were saying that you knew that you're waiting. They've said you're gonna wait for a beating from your father, and you know your father is coming, and the first thing he's gonna say is, "All right, because you've messed up, we're gonna keep your Xbox for the next 2 weeks." Just imagine yourself in that shoe. If I was me, and I try to remember the things I've done, that if they came up and said, "All right, because you've done that, you're not going out to play for the next 2 weeks," I'll be like, "Hallelujah. I'm gonna be inside the house."
You're lying, man. As a kid, it's painful.
As a kid, it's not. It's like kids have FOMO, like heavy FOMO, so fear of missing out.
This is why
compared to beating you,
no,
compared to beating you, and you can go to
trust me.
This is why I even got bitten by a dog. FOMO.
Fear,
my mom told me to stay at home, but I was like, nah, fam, I'm out. Peace.
And then she goes and gets bitten by a dog. So even no parent had to beat her. Their dog was like, "Oh, come here," So
come on over here.
Yeah. So listen, there are ways of doing things like this. There are ways. I've been in certain forms of employment. Where so for example, the armed forces. You think the army right now, they use what, physical punishments? No, they simply just take away your privileges, and it really hurts, because think about it, you're working hard Monday to Friday. So for a child, you're going to school Monday to Friday, doing homework Monday to Friday, then your parent tells you, "Hey, my friend, you messed up, the whole weekend is homework." You're sitting here, you're doing homework. I'm gonna sit here. Trust me, that's a big punishment for a kid. So yeah. Moving on from that, again, it's about just measuring what it is you're going to do and how it is you're going to teach these things. I learned things by seeing them myself. Like, okay, this person is upholding these for this reason, and I'll probably teach them that way. I'll be like, look, the importance of what I'm doing here is to make sure that everybody else is good, whatever it is that that they show you. So guys, in the comments, let us know how you intend to instill these values into your peers, your family, your spouses, your children, and all of that. We would really love to know. If you're enjoying this, please smash a like in the button. If you have suggestions, if you want to tell Ovi not to be beating people, please put it in the comments, guys. All right.
Up.
One last question, guys. What core value or values do you think everyone should have? Maybe give us one or two, if not, if you want three. But what values do you think every single person should have? Let's go, Mr. Ovi.
Respect, I think. Even though it's something I actually had to learn, guys. I think everyone should have respect for another person. The moment you have respect for someone, I think everything is gonna be smooth.
Yeah.
And I think respect goes a long way, very, very, very long way. Because some people can just say, "Well, I respect this guy," and it's just respect. But respect goes a very long way, guys. It comes from, I mean, the smallest thing you can respect. Let's say the smallest thing I can know. When I say respect, you should also be able to know that this person I'm dealing with, these are the boundaries. I think that's part of respect. You should know that this is the line I should go to. If, let's say, we're having fun, we're joking or anything, I think that boundary is your respect to know that, okay, I have to respect this guy in this order, that I can't go past this, I can't say this, or let's say even on a daily, when you're chatting, if you go to their place, they don't like this kind of way. Just respect what someone believes in, and you shall get that back. I think that's all I could say.
So you said two things there. So courtesy, treat someone how you want to be treated, and also respect. Okay, cool. What do you guys think? So guys in the comments, what do you think? Do you agree with Ovi that two core values that somebody should have are respect and common courtesy? Vanessa and Nala and Paso, what do you think?
I think Ovi's right. I think the top one is respect, because people tend to try other people because they do not have respect. So I think that's one of the core things that people need to have, and then as well as empathy. Empathy is another big thing that I think a lot of people lack. So those are my two: respect and empathy.
Okay, Mr. Patso, what do you think?
Hey man, don't try me, try Jesus. Well, I'd say.
What the?
I was just quoting the respect stuff and all that stuff. Like nowadays, people just try you and they trying to provoke you and stuff like. I think maybe just the core one would be standing up for others that can't stand up for themselves. Like, because there are other people in society that really can get certain things, and people just look down on them. The respect that they need, and you try to bring them out there, and people see them as a certain kind of figure or something like that. So it is only right to stand up for people and make sure that they get access to whatever they want. And if it doesn't harm anyone, you just have to be there to stand up for people that can't stand up for themselves. Yeah. So that's the yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
apparently it was a dub. Apparently it was a dub. I missed it. Okay. Patrick True City fan is wilding. He's like, look, Ovita, if you have respect, why do you call people at 3 a.m. on a Saturday morning?
Dumb. That is dumb. Thank you for asking that question. Thank you.
No, totally. I agree with you guys. I agree with everyone what you guys said. I think I agree with Ovi more. These are the two things I would have picked as well. Courtesy, respect. Those two things, you need them, especially in this day and age, because I feel like a lot of people are just disregarding other people and going, no, I'm important. You must respect me. I think people misunderstand what respect means. You got to respect others and respect yourself, So there are people that just even when you go online right now, that just when you look at what's going on in the world, when you look at the war that's happening between Ukraine and Russia, there's a level of respect that you need there. Like, how can you just go and violate somebody else's country, just displace people? Anyway, I'm not political, but what I'm trying to say is I think that's very important. Respect, common courtesy, I think. So guys in the chat, please let us know what core values are important to you. Yeah, this is homework, isn't it?
Yeah.
And also what core values you think everyone should have. All right. So oh my goodness. So we've got Mr. True City fan saying that was good, to be honest. Well done, you guys. Drinks by 20. Got MP. He says MP is buying the drinks, guys. So guys, if you're free, go to MP's house. He's got drinks for you. All right. No, just so that cool. So to conclude this, right? As you heard yourselves, even from the video and even from the comments from what people were saying, family values are important. They make who you are, and they sort of like every step you make in life, you're making it with the values that you learned and the values you're trying to keep. You know, you hold yourself in a certain way. There's that saying when people say said it with their chest, you know, said it with pride, you know. It's because you're holding on to those values that you've been taught. That's who you are. So guys, maintain those values, be who you are. Most importantly, respect, courtesy, you know what I mean? Yeah. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this topic. Like, subscribe, hit the notification button. Let us know what you guys think. All right. We will see you next week, 7 p.m., same place, YouTube, man. Make sure you're there. See you later.
All right.